Okay. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Okay. Right. Okay. So we want to welcome you to another exciting edition of the Shield Field live Facebook sessions, where we take you through a number of information, protocol, etiquette, and close protection. We want to sincerely apologize for coming up a little bit behind schedule, but we'll try as much as possible to short time. My name is Minabai Seibofa. I am Chief of Board, Shieldfield Nigeria Limited. A company saddled with the responsibility of providing close protection, protocol, and etiquette services to organizations, individuals, and of course, corporate bodies. What we do is provide services with class, style, elegance, and a touch of professionalism. I want to come and let's have a beautiful time. So, if you have been following my recent updates on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as well, you would have noticed that I have constantly talked about one, and that is situational awareness. This of situational awareness is simply because of the times we find ourselves. Situational awareness is not something that is out of the blues. It's not something that should be strange to you. It's not something that should sound big to you. And so it is a lifestyle. It is a continuous process. It is what gives you edge. It is what keeps you Okay, we are, and we will continue. So we want to once again apologize for the breaking transmission. The network has not been really helpful to what we did here, but we believe it will get better as we continue. So I will urge you to share the video and invite your friends. You can do that. Do that. Have some good time. Okay, so you can invite your friends and tell them what is happening here right now and at this very moment. So we are taking a look at the concept of situational awareness. And when we talk about situational awareness, what are we talking about? We are saying being aware of your environment, being aware of your environment, knowing the things that are happening around your environment, not being taken unawares, not letting, excuse me, not letting things happen without your notice. Man, individuals, human beings naturally would want to live a relaxed life without even caring about the things of the world, the things happening around the world. They just want to enjoy themselves and live this carefree life like nothing is ever happening. But you see, that has led man to a place where he has that prey, hunters, predators are in the mix of the living of mankind, so to speak, if you want to say that, right? Friends, there are those as well. There are people who hunt. So if you are not aware, I just end up eating you, and you will just be the predator. Might just end up right. So that is the essence of situational awareness, and with the activity this is no time to leave stone unturned as to what is happening in the environment. So, situational awareness will bring knowledge. We know those things happening around right
the potential threats in that environment. Now, another explanation says it refers to being aware of what is happening around you. Now, these two definitions and these two explanations I've given, there's one thing that is constant. It's talking about being aware. Being aware. What are you being aware of? Aware the happening in your environment. Things happening in your environment. Allow with where you are in relation to other people or things and what potential threats there might be. As said before now, that you're not the only one in an environment. In our constant interaction with the world, we interact with a lot of people, we interact with things, of course, the vehicles, the air, everything. We interact with all of these things. Now, what situational awareness is saying is being aware of the things happening around your environment in respect to the things in that environment, in relation to people, in relation to things, and not just in relation to these things, but the threats these things are capable of producing. These things are capable of bringing to you. So once you're aware of all of these things, then you are situationally aware. Well, situational awareness forms a major part of any good risk management strategy. So one of those risk management strategy you can use is a situational awareness because it is core. In fact, it is a key to spotting threats and dangerous situations before they happen so that you can either avoid them or try as much as possible their impact. Now, one thing you need to know is this: threats don't happen out of threats don't happen like it just happened. Before anything happened, there must have been a calculated series or plan or attempts by the assailant to any of the person he wants to attack or not. So there is a progression. Now, as the progression moves, what do you notice when that happens? That is situational awareness. So as this sounds something that it is lifelong skill, it is more than just a skill. It is a mindset. It is something that should be with you every now and then. And situational awareness is not about being paranoid. Like you want to think, you think someone wants to kill you all the time. It's not that. We'll get to that as we continue. Right now, with these explanations, you can see that fundamentally, situational awareness is being aware of your environment. How do you become aware of your environment? That is the nitty gritty. That is where we'll take a look at some principles, some concepts that will help us understand this concept very well, practice it, and apply it every day of our life. Now, as simple as some of this explanation sounds, it takes conscious effort to practice it and conscious knowledge so that you become effective in this. Let me give you a quote of Cardin Kennedy, who wrote a guide titled The Urban Prepper's Ultimate Guide to Situational Awareness and Survival. Now, he said, just knowing what is happening where you are is not enough. You have to orient yourself to adapt to each new surrounding you find yourself. Let me take that again. Just knowing what is happening where you are is not enough. You need to be able to take information, put it into context, and you act accordingly. So you see, it's a process. It's not just knowing what is happening around you. You should be able to observe this phenomenon, put into context, analyze it. Does it make sense? Does it not make sense? And of course, what happens at the end of the day? If it makes sense, good. If it doesn't make sense, are you to react in a way that will save lives? Are you to react to it in a way that will make sure that that danger doesn't come to you? That is what situational awareness is all about. You have to orient yourself to adapt to each new surrounding. Now, for every surrounding, there is an expected way of behavior. For every situation, there is a way you act. All right? If you're just joining us, this is a Facebook Live of Shield Field. And of course, we are taking a look at situational awareness, a key to enhancing safety as individuals and organizations. Initially, in my posts, I said organizations, but I realized it's for everyone as well. Having said this, let us take a look at what and what forms situational awareness, and it will take us to the it will take us to the the principle of double ODA, or we call it the OODA loop, double OODA, yes, double OODA, the OODA loop, you can call it the OODA loop, right? And the OODA loop there is just an acronym for what I'm about to mention, acronym for observation, orient, decision, and action. And that particular principle, that particular formula, so to speak, or that particular abbreviation was postulated by John Boyd. Now, John Boyd is a former U.S. Air Force fighter, of course, who fought in the United States. And of course, it was during his return from the Korean War and the Vietnam War. That, you know, he's been able to uh, make some of these things known. And he said, observe, orient, decide, and act. Okay, just as the name implies, just as the first word observe. Now, observation is not just taking a look. When you observe, you must take in information. You notice the things around you, and you are able to create a mental picture of what is happening. Now, take a look at your environment, for example. What are the things you have noticed that every day you come out, you walk through the road, there is something that is constant? While others may not see it because you have constantly observed, taking that information and you have memorized that, that information is now part of you, you'll be able to say to someone, haven't you observed that that car is always parked there every 4 p.m.? Just as the case. It could be any other thing in your environment. No two environments are the same. In environments, in different environments, there are things that are expected to happen. So no two environments are the same. So whenever you find yourself in an environment, you need to adapt to that environment to be able to understand the things that are happening. So when you observe, you are taking into account new information about the things changing in that environment. You may have had previous things or previous information, but when you notice what is here, what is not here, these are the things that will help you pick up information. When you pick this information, then you are able to say, I have been able to observe this phenomenon. So if a madman, for example, always walks your streets, you should be conscious enough to know that this, except you are in a state of I don't care, like we always say, you are in the state of that is. I'll get to that point where we talk about the levels of awareness. But let's talk about this OODA loop. It will help us understand the levels of awareness as we progress. All right. So you can go ahead, share this video, and invite your friends because we are live, and of course we are live on Facebook and YouTube at Minabai Seibofa. Go ahead and share this video. Let's continue with observe in the OODA loop. Now, with observation, you have gotten a crucial understanding of what is happening around you. If we align that with the levels of awareness, we call that the yellow state. But let's not go there first. And of course, sometimes people have been harmed, people have been attacked, a lot of things have happened. People did not observe something is not normal in the environment. Well, when you talk about observation, then you talk about baselines and anomalies. But then we'll go into the next one, which is the orient. All right. The next one is orient. So I've just talked about observe. Observe the things around you, picking in information. I'm not here to define the definition of observe for you, but you know what observe does. You pick information. Once you pick this information, you are able to process this information, and that information you have processed will enable you to take actions and decisions. That's what the OODA loop is talking about. OODA: observe, orient, decide, and act. All right. So we just finished talking about that. Now we go to orient. On my Facebook post, I said observe plus analysis plus action is equals situational analysis. Observe plus orient or analyze or analysis plus action equals situational analysis. And what we're trying to say is after you've been able to pick all the information, you now sieve it. Sieving it means trying to make sense out of it. Does this thing make sense? And that is where baselines and anomalies comes into play. What are baselines and anomalies? What are baselines and anomalies? Now, baselines are basically the set of information or the set of activities you would likely see in a particular environment. Remember, we're talking about situation analysis. You will see a lot of shoppers going around buying or picking up goods, picking up whatever they want, and then head to the counter or whoever to pay for the goods. Now, when you go into a shopping mall and you don't see this activity on, someone who is so when we talk about orients, we are talking about establishing baselines everywhere you go. Now, the reason you establish baselines is so that you can spot anomalies. I just explained this from this explanation. I guess you can understand what I'm trying to say. Baselines are those standard things, standard behaviors that you should see in a particular environment. In your environment, you know that your environment is a busy area and you morning, maybe 10 o'clock in the morning and 12 p.m. in the afternoon. And yet, in that area where you live, the area is not as busy as it should be. What baseline is saying is that information you already have about your area being busy or about that particular environment being busy is not there. It's an anomaly. Baselines helps you to establish anomalies, to spot anomalies. Now, every environment or person has a baseline. That's what you need to know. Everybody, everybody. It is what is normal in every situation. It is what is that ordinarily is not. What normal activity can you see here? Do I? Do you go to an office and you see something different, or you go to an office, people working and making sure that activities of the government or of the company, go to a shopping mall and you see people lying on the floor, or you go to the shopping mall, see people walking around, a number of things. Shopping to a secondary school, a primary school, a university. These are not things. What could cause someone something to stand out? Is someone behaving erratically? Is someone behaving somehow? someone behaving in a way that he should not behave, that is an abnormal tendency. On a very good day, this man reacts very well, responds very well. But then that is not happening. These things you see because you already have established baselines. Anomalies you see, all right, that is what orient and baselines in when you register. Do all of that right now, but that is talking about orient. What orient does is processing this information. Orient does is process this information, make sense of this, spot errors. When you are trying to take advantage of the situation, you go to D. Type tells you, decision am I to make? Am I to step away from this area? Lets you do. So after observing, after